A recent article on Guy Stuff counseling site questioned if you really need romance in order to make a marriage work. And while some people said that once the romance is gone, you've basically become roommates, others said it doesn't necessarily mean it's over. They said if both people are willing to put in the work, it could ultimately bring you back together. So ladies, what do you think? Once the romance dies, is the relationship dead too?
No, I don't think the relationship dies, but it does mean that now you have a different relationship. And the question that you should ask is, once the romance dies, is it the relationship you want? So whether or not relationships are important to have romance in them is the real question that you should be answering. Because you can have a ton of different relationships. You can have a brother and sister-like relationship. You can have a roommates-like relationship mentioned here. You can have a friends type of relationship. But the romance definitely makes it the only type of relationship it is that's not like your mom and your dad, and you and your neighbor, and you and your besties. You know what I mean? The romance is what gives it that.
The romance is gone. Can you try to bring it back? I mean, find what the person loved. What did you love about the person when you first met them so that you can sort of bring it back?
I think you absolutely can bring the romance back, but similar to like you're saying, Jeannie, I really used to think that way. I used to think that, well, then if there isn't any romance involved, then it's just like every other relationship you have. Except for the fact of, I've really been talking to a lot of parents and just the transition of motherhood and parenting and what that season looks like for most people is very different, but it is still wildly intimate. So while it may not be romantic to have to wake up in the middle of the night and you're exhausted together and you're caring for this child, it may not be the most romantic season of your marriage, but it's still significant and special. So I think it's important that we not just look for Teddy Pendergrass music playing and rose bubble baths and flowers, but that you recognize that there's a difference between romance and intimacy. When the intimacy completely leaves your relationship, I think that's when you should be concerned. And more than anything, when the friendship ends. When you are no longer friends, that to me is the end of your relationship.
Have you stayed in a relationship just for the sex? Because that's still good?
When you initially start a relationship, I think romance is important. When you first start, you know, but the thing is that, but you'll be surprised at how many people initially don't even have romance. If you notice that the man is not being romantic to you, you know, then that to me is a sign that maybe, and you know, sometimes they say, oh, well, he doesn't want to be intimate or he doesn't want to get that close. That's a sign, I feel, of, you know, whether he's serious about the relationship or not, if he's not being romantic. So I think at the very beginning to make sure that you understand what it is that you need, what it is that he needs, and what is it to be romantic at the beginning. And as the goes on, go ahead, Garcelle. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say also, don't confuse romance with lust. You know, I think when a relationship is new, the energy is going and everybody's excited, but that's not necessarily the long-lasting romance that you need to make it work.
Romance for me is simple stuff. I think every woman, you should really ask yourself, what is it that turns you on from your partner, that you find that's cute? You know, like when I wake up in the morning, James will grab my toes. It's something about him grabbing my toes. I just, grab my toes, baby. Grab. Yes.
But that's your thing, and I love that. And somebody else may be like, that's not romantic.
Don't grab my toes.
Guys, I just worry.
What you want, Garcelle? What makes you really grab the
what
back
kind
of your
romance?
back? The little small back?
She don't want her toes grabbed.
You know, I just want a nice hug and a really good hug.
Well, see, a hug
give me a hug.
for me. Look, look at you. Been so long, ain't it? It's been so. For long, huh?
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Hey.
Oh my God. I'm gonna call HR on her.